Hi everyone, this is a pick a card reading for what you need to know about your person. So that's very, very interesting as a topic, and I thought, yes, let's do that. Let's do this because I've been getting quite a lot of requests actually for this kind of a reading. So we have here these wonderful groups. We have group 1, Group 2 and Group 3, and I also just want to mention as well a few different things. These crystals are stunning, and I often find when I buy crystals online that they come a lot smaller. Look at this, like this is a huge crystal in comparison to my hand, and it's really weighted and it's actually really beautiful as well. I oftentimes find that crystals are just they're just really not what they appear to be, and obviously crystals are all going to be different, they're not just going to be the same, but I sometimes find that they look better online and then they come and then they don't look so good. And so I wanted to share this website with you. They're not paying me to say this at all, but I know a lot of you do ask me for where to purchase crystals and things like that. I am going to be starting to sell crystals on my Etsy store, but I thought I'd also mention this website, which is spiritmagica.net. It is a real website. It's not like a scammy website or anything like that. They sell their crystals and then ship them via DHL, and it just gets to you so quickly. So I'll leave a link down below. Again, not sponsored to say any of this. I genuinely do think that crystals are really wonderful and they're very, very beautiful as well. So I just mentioned that. And then I also wanted to mention that the timestamps for each of these group readings will be found in the description box below. You can go down there, click on it, it will take you to your reading. And we've got group 1, 2 and 3. Got the beautiful, look at this rose quartz as well. I mean, they're all stunning. So yes, whichever group you're most interested in, that's going to be the reading for you, for what you need to know about your person. Oh, and the other thing I wanted to mention as well is that if you'd like to win a free reading with me, check out the description box below, since I do a giveaway every single month. If you would like to purchase a private paid reading, they will also be down below as well. They're done within 24 to 48 hours. Everything's in the description box, including my Etsy store as well, which has Moonlight, which has intention manifesting items which are handmade, such as bracelets, necklaces, anklets, pom-poms, tassels, embroidered cards which you can put under your pillow, your wallet or your purse. You can check out the review section to see how other people have seen results with them. They are also meditated with and sage. There's also face masks, crystals, divination charms, coins, pendulums, cloth bowls, etc. from me to you. The link is in the description box below. Alright, so I thought I'd mention those as well because I spend a lot of time also making these manifesting items as well on the side. Okay, so we're going to start first of all with group 1 and then we'll get to the rest of the groups. So let me just do that and move the rest to the side. Okay. Alright, group number 1. This is what you need to know about your person. So we have here this group which you've chosen, beautiful and very calming actually. It's like a light blue kind of a vibe, and you've also got the crystal here as well. This is also the Shuffle Tarot deck, so I'm just going to put your crystal right there. Beautiful deck, just look at that. It just reminds me a lot of like calm and peace and serenity. So let's have a look and see what you need to know about your person. Let's have a look. We're going to do a full 12 card spread, and we're also going to get charms out as well, so we'll definitely take a nice deep dive into things. Okay. Alright, so you have the 7 of Cups. I am an upright reader, I just want to mention that as well. You've got here the King of Wands. Now this deck is a little bit different. I know what some of you are thinking. You're thinking, there's mixed imagery in here. That's because this deck is quite a creative deck in many ways. Even though you sort of got the environment of the King of Cups, you've actually got the King of Wands. So I do want to mention that. But it is the King of Wands, and this is the Seven of Cups. Then we've got here Strength. We have got the Four of Cups. We've got the High Priestess. We have Temperance and Death. The Emperor. Oh, look, we've got the Empress as well. We have got here the Seven of Wands. It's interesting that you've got that Seven of Wands there as well. Yeah, we've got the Empress. Let's put the Empress on top here of the Emperor. We've got here the Eight of Wands. 8 and the 9 of Wands. You've got the King of Wands. Sorry, the Knight of Wands. Knight of Wands. King of Wands is right there. Knight of Wands. We have the Page of Wands. We have the Ten of Wands. I know what you're thinking. Again, you know, it looks like the Ten of Cups card, but it is the Ten of Wands. And we have also got here as well the Nine of Wands. You've got a lot of wands, I will say. You've got the, let's put it right there. You've got the 7, the 8, the 9, and the 10. So that's really interesting. Okay, so what I see here in regards to what you need to know about your person, the Seven of Cups really does show that your person is someone that does fantasize a lot, does think about the future, does think about things that they want to achieve, their goals, their dreams, their aspirations. This person is always very forward thinking. This person also is someone who likes to show their achievements. They like to do things also in a way where people can recognize their achievements. I feel also that there are some things from their childhood that is the reason why they do like to sort of show that, you know, this is what I've achieved, this is what I've done. It's almost like, you know, in their childhood, I feel in the way that they were raised, they were always raised in a way, how do I explain this, where their achievements really mattered. Like it was like, you're not very useful unless you have achieved this, this, and this. That could have been in school, it could have been through different activities, like you need to do your best and you need to achieve this, you need to get a grade like this, you know, and that's what I see here is that they have been taught from a very young age, you need to be able to really succeed. And so I feel as well, as they've gotten older, that's the mentality they have, like I need to succeed or else I'm a failure and I need to show my successes to others to ensure that they know that I am not a failure. That's something I think is really important to understand. So you've got here this sense of like, I've achieved this, I've done this, 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 and this, and I'm going towards this goal, and it's going to happen. So they can also very much so, you know, kind of show like, oh, you know, this is what's happening, and that's what's happening. They could be someone that does post their achievements online, or I mean, some of them may not, you know, some of them may not, but essentially they do like to show their achievements. That's something I do see here. One thing I also figure out here as well is that this person does not like rejection, okay? The Seven of Cups, they do not like rejection. Again, it's something from their childhood because, again, that Seven of Cups as well. It's some kind of conditioning that's happened over the course of time with this Seven of Cups and the Four of Cups. They do not like to be rejected. That is something that I think is really powerful, very significant here. Rejection makes them run in the opposite direction. I do feel sometimes that they can be someone who at times may, you know, suppress some feelings and feel like, okay, that doesn't exist, let me just move over it, I'll move on from it, it doesn't matter. It does matter because they don't like to be rejected. It's literally that simple with the Four of Cups. And they also don't like to put themselves in a place where they could be rejected. So this person, your person, should I say, it's a better way of phrasing it, can be someone who is very much so not wanting to ever be rejected. And the Four of Cups here shows that they like to be in a place where they're being offered things rather than in the place of being rejected, right? So the King of Wands here shows that they're really determined, very motivated, very passionate, especially when it comes to work, to get things done, to be the leader. They strive to become a leader, and that's what I see. Now, this also includes in the relationships as well. They like to be the more powerful, dominant person. And it's not because they want to have control over you, but I think it's also part of how they've been conditioned in their childhood to be successful, to be the role model, to be the one that's achieving, the one that's succeeding, the one that's got their life together. Ultimately, that's what's coming through here, is that they have been taught and conditioned that that's how they should be in their life. That's how they should be in regards to the things that happen for them, not the other way around. And I think it also goes to show as well, with strength as well, is that this person is ultimately very, very strong, in the sense that if they, they can handle constructive criticism, they can handle difficult moments, but at times they can become very vulnerable. So even though the strength card comes here, it does show that sometimes they can live a little bit more in fear rather than love. And a lot of this is like sort of self-defense mechanism, is that they don't want to be rejected, and they'll go to a lot of deep costs or lengthy costs to make sure that they are not rejected. Ultimately, that's what we see here as well. Now, the High Priestess is pretty significant, right? The High Priestess here shows that they can at times feel emotional. The Death card here even shows that they do have very strong emotions within themselves. But the Emperor also shows sometimes they can be very good at detaching and suppressing their emotions for a period of time so that they don't necessarily feel all of it. And so they do seem to be a pretty balanced person, but what I will say is that from time to time they can be someone who's a little bit more hot and cold. They can be somebody who is perhaps not always saying how they feel or showing how they feel. They can be much more sort of in their own bubble, in their own world, in regards to things that they are saying and doing. That's just something to definitely keep in mind when it comes to them, is that they may not always express or say what they are feeling until a later date, until they feel more comfortable with how things are going, because Temperance also shows balance and patience. They are pretty patient, they are pretty balanced, but again, it depends on how things are also swaying in their favor. And I will say as well that this is actually a very common thing to see with people, because oftentimes, when we feel rejected, we don't feel good, right? Who does? So in a way, I think that's pretty significant here. Also, it's true, our childhood does affect us. So that's something that we see here. So that's another very common aspect here. And the other thing here is that obviously, when things are going right, it's great. But when things are going wrong, we do want to protect ourselves. And we do sometimes just want to think that, okay, like things will get better. It's okay. I don't need to, too much be stressed about all of this. So again, that's something I see here. I don't necessarily see that this is a huge red flag. I'd say that sometimes suppressing emotions is not exactly the best thing, but they don't do it to an extent where it completely damages everything that they do. So do keep that in mind. Now, if you're with someone who constantly emotionally suppresses themselves and doesn't say anything, this can be a little bit of a different reading, I feel, in that sense. But that's what I see here, is that the Eight of Wands is, I know that the context of this card looks terrible, but this is the Eight of Wands, and the Eight of Wands is not a terrible card. This is actually in the scenery of the Eight of Swords, but the Eight of Wands is about progression, it's about movement, it's about goals, it's about dreams, it's about continuity and moving forward. So I really feel that your person is someone that always likes to move forward, always likes to progress, always likes to do the right thing in many ways, and like to take care of themselves so that they know that they can take care of someone else. Ultimately, they like to know that they have it within them so that they can also reflect it back into the other things that really do matter to them. And that's ultimately the most significant and most important thing that I do pick up here, is that they are not going to necessarily take advantage of you. That's not what they want to do. That's not the direction that they actually want to go in. They want to be able to progress with you so that things are much more stable, much more progressive, much more simple, and ultimately that's what I do see here, right there. Okay, so if we continue on, right, so we have looked at the bottom spread, we looked at the High Priestess a little bit. It goes to show that they do have emotions, they do have feelings. This person is not made completely out of stone, just want to say that. I know it might seem like that, but it's really honestly just not the case. They're not completely made out of stone, so, that is what we are seeing here. So just, something to keep in mind in the grand context of things. So yeah, that is pretty much what we do have here. I mean, I will say, you know, the High Priestess is a very deeply intelligent card. I feel like this person, your person, is very intelligent. And I also feel here as well, they do have this divine self where they are kind and caring and nurturing. It hasn't been completely unlocked, but I do feel like a transformation will happen at some point where they will become much more like themselves and less like, and be able to heal from some of this childhood conditioning where they can be so much more like themselves and they're not so fussed about how people see them or the achievements that they have. They'll be much more like, this is what I am, this is what I do, I don't need to prove anything to anyone, I'm good, thank you so much. That's the kind of vibe that I see there, you know, where they're just able to progress forward and have this harmony and balance within themselves, so they don't constantly feel like they need to do everything and do it all in a specific way, let's say. So that's what we do have right there. And then you also do have as well the Death card. Now the Death card here again is about transformation. So one thing I do pick up here is that you have got quite a bit of water energy that's flowing through here. I mean, you have got some fire as well, but one thing I've noticed is you've got a lot of dominant fire and water. Quite a lot of it spread out throughout the spread. Now fire and water indicates balance, right? Because you need fire, you need water. And that's actually a really good thing, is that to a degree this person is quite balanced with how they think about things. And the Death card here does show a transformation where they will feel much more like themselves, especially if they're a little bit more detached. They will be much more considerate, patient, attached as time goes by, and not so much running in the opposite direction as much as they maybe have done in the past. Don't necessarily see that being the case completely. The other thing as well that I do pick up with the what do you call it? The Nine of Wands. There we go. The Nine of Wands. That's pondering, wondering, thinking, contemplating. They do think about things. In regards to you as well, they do think about you. They do care about you. But a lot of the times, what I do see here is that they do worry about their self-image, how other people see them. They try to find validation in that. But I feel like that's going to change. I feel like they're not just going to be running after validation from others, but instead they're going to be finding that within themselves, especially with the High Priestess and Temperance and Death, right? Death is death to rebirth. It is transformation at its finest. Then you've also got the Seven of Wands, right? Seven of Wands is about inner struggles. These struggles are from childhood. These struggles are the things that they have been told, the ways in which they have been conditioned, like you need to do this, 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 you need to work your absolute butt off, otherwise you're not really doing anything. It's not always the case, you know. I mean, there are ways to work hard without having to necessarily work hard, you know what I mean? Like, there are certain things that you can enjoy where you may not feel like you're working hard, but actually you are working hard. But then also, you know, Seven of Wands is about an active struggle, and so they feel like unless they are not struggling in regards to work and things like that, like they're not working hard. Does that make sense? Like, you know, the Seven of Wands is about an active struggle. So from time to time, they very much so do feel like I need to struggle in order to feel satisfied. And that is a little bit strange, but that just goes to show you their mentality, especially when it does come to work. And then, of course, you have got the Eight of Wands, which is about progression, movement, and direction. And then the Knight of Wands here is definitely a really powerful, significant, and strong energy about them really having, I think, attraction and desire towards you, which I do see here. They seem to be very comforting. They seem to be, to a degree, they really do like you and care about you. There is a bit of a but, you know, the but here is mainly the fact that they do also live in their own little bubble, in their own little world, trying to do the things that they want to do for themselves. And that can sometimes make you feel a little bit left out. In many ways, you might feel a little bit left out in the cold. You may feel like, does this person actually care about me? What is going on? You know, how are they in that sense? But the Empress here does show that there is care there, and you have got here counterparts, you know, so that's interesting with the Emperor and the Empress. So it does show that there is care. It does show here that, again, there are things from childhood that do affect them, because the Empress is the mother energy, which is really, really interesting, and also the father energy too, right? So whomever they were raised by had a really, really significant impact on how they see things and how they are competitive. There we go. There's the big word. They are competitive. That's something that I do pick up here. So for example, if they see people around them, like everyone's getting married or settling down, like they suddenly want to do that. If they see that people are achieving a lot of money, they want to do that. It's like whatever the biggest trend is, they want to do that. If their friends, for example, around them or people around them are not in relationships and they're having fun, like they want to do that. And so there's something here where I see like they do like to follow what other people are doing, and they like to make sure that they're also being kind of heard and talked about in many ways, but in a way where, you know, their achievements are also shining in parallel. Page of Wands, yeah, so I mean, that's very similar to what I just mentioned. Page of Wands is like a messenger. Page of Wands likes to be seen and heard. And then also you have got the Ten of Wands. So again, something to do with childhood, you know, burdens that they do carry with them. And this can also be to do with past relationships that have not gone so well. They constantly feel like they need to prove themselves. That's the biggest thing here as well. They don't like rejection, but they feel like they always have to prove themselves in the ways that they do things. So let's go to charms and letters. Okay, so these letters can spell out initials. It can also be words as well. Let's have a look. S H O. Ooh, are we going to get a W? You know what I mean? Because I'm seeing like show, but like it's almost there. But I mean, if you were to say that, you would say show, right? Okay, so we have here do. So this person is a doer. Okay, but I'm still seeing that, I'm still feeling that show vibe, like they like to show things, right? Okay, so we've got SHOLI CZD. I know you can read the letters, but I thought I'd just, you know, mention them. And then let's go to charms. There's quite a few that like fell back into the pot, but we've also got the full stop here as well. So they do want to put like an end to some of these things that they're always doing, especially when they're sort of like just running after things or constantly needing to prove themselves. That is an inner struggle that they do want to close off. In many ways, like a chapter. You have got here the horse here as well, so this shows knight. This shows a pursuing energy, so they do want to pursue you from what I can see here, but I also see the knight is about like constantly doing things, like getting things done. Like they feel like if they're not being productive, they're not doing anything. That's not always the case, right? That's not always the case. Just because you're productive doesn't mean that you're always doing things. Like productiveness is one of those things where, you know, it's okay to rest, it's okay to take time off, it's okay to sometimes not do anything, you know, you need that time. It's a little bit like constantly charging a phone. If the phone is constantly being charged, at some point, you know, you got to disconnect it from that, otherwise it could over fry your phone, and it can make it, you know, battery issues and things worse. Or if you're always using your phone, at some point you do need to give it a rest and charge it, you know what I mean? Like it has to be a balance, essentially, in that case. So that's what I see here, is that they do want to put an end to some of these sort of cycles and patterns that they do have, and that will come with healing as time goes by, especially with the High Priestess. And I feel like they may even go to a therapist or go speak to someone who can really help them. It may also be someone in their work environment, or a teacher or someone in that sense who's like, hey, look, you know, maybe you should get some help in regards to that, because they might open up to someone in that regard. They might open up to an aunt, or it could even be an older person or relative in that sense. So that's what I see there. You've also got the crown chakra stick here, and you know, the crown chakra is purple. It's right at the top, so basically envision where a crown would go, right on the top of the head. That's essentially where the crown chakra is. And you know what it's about? It's about divinity, which is interesting, because again, that High Priestess energy just goes to show that it's about realization, understanding, and enlightenment. So they're going to become much more enlightened as time goes by. I feel like this will also really help the connection between the two of you in many ways, because ultimately, so what I see with the rest of the charms is it's going to show direction, you know, and values as well. And also it's going to help them to really understand with spirituality what they are feeling towards you, and also what they are feeling overall within themselves, because that path is going to strengthen how they feel towards you, but also how they feel towards their path, and they'll be able to steer in the right direction from what I see there as well. So this is your reading, group 1. If this resonated with you, let me know in the comment section below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Check out the description box below for information on private paid readings, free reading giveaway, and of course intention items, which are on Etsy. And definitely do take care and stay safe, everyone. Alright, so now I'm going to take away these charms. I just found that there's a letter in there for no reason in the charm box, so just take that out. All right, let's put these in here. Okay. And then we'll go to group 2. I'm really excited about group 2's deck because you'll see if you've chosen group number 2 what it's all about. It's rather exciting. Okay, so let's grab it. Alright, group number 2. Let's have a look and see what you need to know about your person. Okay, so you have chosen this deck, which is the Monopoly Tarot. Yes, you had that right. It is a fun deck. It is unique, it is exciting, it's colourful too. So we've got that deck here. We also got the rose quartz as well, which is of course a very, very beautiful, beautiful crystal. I'm going to put that right there, and let's have a look. I'm going to do a 12 card spread, and then we'll also do charms and letters at the end of the reading. Let's have a look and see what you need to know about your person. What do you need to know about your person? What do you need to know? We've got here 10 of Pentacles. Actually, let me show you. 10 of Pentacles, Abundance, Legacy Avenue. There we go. Wow. 10 of Pentacles. Then we have got here Page of Cups, Development of Affection and Creative Energy. Let's just put these down for now, and then I'll talk about them, and then we'll get the rest of the cards out. We've also got here the Knight of Cups, Messenger of Romance and Invitations. And then we've also got here the Queen of Cups, Supporter of Compassion and Intuitive Feelings. I have used this deck before, so I know they sort of came out a little bit consecutively, but I did use it in one of the other readings on my channel recently. So there's proof that I have shuffled these cards and I have used them. Because sometimes when cards come out consecutively, it's one of those thoughts like, is this the first time you're using this deck? The answer to that is no. Okay, and then we've got here the Chariot. Beautiful. I am an upright reader. Look at that. It's so pretty. I love the symbolism of it. Kind of reminds me of my background, where you take like little symbols here and there and you put things together. It's like, you know, all of the classic symbols from Monopoly. Got the Magician, and of course sort of their own ones as well. You have here the Lovers. We have Strength. And we've got here the Four of Swords, Restful Solitude Way, which is beautiful and pink, matches the crystal. Okay, let's start with this for now, and then we'll pull the rest of the 3 cards. So what I see here in regards to your person is that they are someone that really does look at their legacy and they want to be proud. So essentially they want to build their legacy. That's what I see here as well. But they also want to be super, super proud of when they look back, that they have stories to tell in regards to the future, to their children or to their grandchildren, you know, and that's what I really do see here, is that they want to build a legacy. They want to be abundant. They want to share this. From what I see here, this person is not someone who wants to take things away from people, who wants to hurt people in that sense. Like, they try not to hurt people. Sometimes their actions can come across like that, but I don't feel like that's their intention. So they don't go into things thinking, yeah, I'm going to hurt this person, I'm going to take away their money, or, you know, they don't think like that from what I see here. But yeah, they can be also very financially focused around this time as well. You may even think to yourself like, wow, they're so focused on their work. Like, hello, I also exist. So do keep that in mind, is that they can be very, very focused on their finances because they want to be able to create a legacy. They want to be able to be stable. They want to be able to invest. They want to be able to have money in a way where they don't have to constantly worry about things or worry about what's going to happen in the future, how it's going to happen, if things are going to be okay, if things are not going to be okay. They just don't want to worry in that way. And then you have the Page of Cups, right? So this person, your person, should I say, is very, very creative in different ways. You know, they might be creative in regards to things like interior design, or perhaps in regards to fashion, or in regards to decoration. Even simple things like decorating a plate of food, for example, or decorating cakes, baking, you know, like creative in those elements. Creative doesn't just have to be painting, drawing, things like that. Creative can be drawing, coming up with new ideas, coming up with plans, making beautiful things. It can be jewelry, it can be styling, it can be very simple. It can be organizing as well. That is also very creative in that sense. And also they're very, very affectionate in many ways too. And that's something that I do pick up, is that this person is affectionate and they are very loving. The messenger of romance and invitations here really does go to show as well that they do think about the future. They do think about progression. They think about where things could go. They do think about you and where things could go. I really feel with the Chariot, actually, this makes a lot of sense, right? Because you got here this progression that's going on here. You also have the Chariot, which is about forward movement. It's about the journey rather than just focusing on the destination. It's about, you know, really seeing where things can go and essentially going with the flow of things, not trying to force certain things, not trying to make certain things happen now, like, oh, we're here already, but we're a stop early, but this is where we're going to stop. No, if they have their sights set on something, they will want that particular thing and go after it as much as possible, try and make things happen. And again, very, very romantic energy, which makes sense also with this rose quartz. It's so cooling. Oh my god, this stone is so cooling. Goes to show that I'm actually very warm. So I'm just going to take off. Oh my god, you know that song where it says, it's getting hot in here, so take. Yeah, okay, just gonna take my sweater off. Actually, you know, it makes a lot of sense. We have got the Lovers as well, so they are very affectionate, especially with the Lovers as well. They do have a lot of love and a lot of care towards you. They do feel a lot of that in that sense. And you've also got Strength as well, which goes to show that they are a very, very strong person internally. And even with restful solitude ways, that they do like to rest. They do like to take care of themselves. They're not always just running after things. They do like to rest and take care of themselves and connect to themselves and make sure that they have rest and energy so that they can do a whole bunch of other things as well that they know they need to get done, which is important. But the Magician here shows that yes, they do like to get things done and they do like to go after things. Actually, Magician is Mercury energy as well, so they do like to communicate their way across things. I do feel with the Strength card that they want to become stronger. Now, this could be emotionally, but I also feel like this could be physically. So they physically want to become stronger. So, you know, things like, I mean, I'm seeing gym, right? But it's not always necessary that you have to go to a gym just to be able to do, you know, certain exercises. I mean, for a lot of people, yes, but that's something I see here as well, is that they do want to become much more stronger, but I also see physical strength as well. So do keep that in mind, like they do want to become, you know, much, much stronger. We do have the Lovers, which goes to show here that they do have love towards you. But they also want to become stronger emotionally, from what I see, especially with the Chariot. You know, they want to be able to progress. They don't want to be stuck. They have their sights set on being a very all-around, well-rounded person. They don't just want to be sort of stuck in their ways of being like, oh yeah, I do want to be all around, and then actually not doing it. Do you know what I mean? So that is something that is for sure coming through on the cards, which I think is obviously super, super significant, as we see literally right there. My throat is like going. So yeah, you know, the Strength card is quite significant and also very, very important, because Strength really does represent in so many ways. Strength represents, you know, a really powerful Leo energy. We have also got Mercury, which is Virgo and Gemini. You've got Gemini here again, so you've got double Gemini. You also have the Chariot as well, which is Cancer energy. So definitely do keep in mind the different signs that we do have, because that might really help you in regards to what we do have there in terms of the signs. So let's have a look at the rest of the cards, see what's coming through. They are a very affectionate person from what we can see on the cards, so something to keep in mind. Got here, supporter of truth and protection, Queen of Swords. Wow, okay, so they'll always support the right thing. They'll always try and do the right thing where they can within themselves. They'll always try and do the best they can. I see them as very protective as well, especially in regards to those that they love. Very, very protective, and they don't like to at times come across as too much or be too much or anything like that. They really are always trying to do the absolute most that they can for those around them, and also in regards to you. So that is coming through super, super strong, is that they don't like to they will always try and support the truth. And what I see here is that they do have the ability to listen. You know, they have the ability to listen to both sides, but ultimately they will do what they want to do. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, that is what I see here. So 5 of Wands is conflict gardens. Okay, this is really interesting, conflict gardens, because, you know, what I do see here is that this is also indecisiveness that can sometimes peek through as well. So that they're always trying to sort of get a version of both sides, because that card has come through with a lot of other cards. You know, it's not the only one that's come through. So yeah, you got the High Priestess here as well, is that whenever they feel conflicted or whenever there's conflict, they'll always try and resolve it. From what I can see here, they'll always try and find a harmonious way to balance any kind of conflict, any kind of trouble, and that goes in your connection as well. If there's any conflict, they'll always try and find a way to do things. Perhaps, you know, it's giving you space, giving you time, giving themselves time, trying to be as balanced as possible, trying to find much more balance, trying to find much more harmony. That is something that they really do you know, because they don't like conflict and they don't like things being out of control to such a high degree. You know, they like being in control of things and knowing that things are okay. So that's essentially what I do see here. It's also with the High Priestess as well, that they really are someone who likes to just make sure that they are taking care of themselves, the people around them, and just trying to do the best that they can. And again, they really are focused on their future, but also in regards to thinking, you know, both sides, and just essentially, I wouldn't say that they're two-faced. Yeah, I don't think I'd go to the extent of saying they're two-faced, but they do think about things from both sides, both perspectives, and that is something that they like to do, to make sure essentially that the way that they communicate and the way that they come across is fair, you know, and that's what I see here. Some people do that and they come across as extremely two-faced. I don't necessarily see that this is someone that says one thing and does another, not from all of the cards we do have here. They can sometimes struggle emotionally, I will just say that, but to a very high degree, they want to become better in this area. So I will say that yes, they do struggle a little bit in this area, but I don't necessarily feel that they are bad. And also in regards to you, is that I do feel like they want to progress here. Like, they want to be much more communicative, they want to say a lot more, they want to do a lot more, they want to show a lot more. That comes through very strongly here, especially with these major arcanas, that they want to just very restfully, very quietly, very slowly progress things, get things together, move things along in that way. I think it really helps, and I think that it really progresses things nicely in that way. And so that's what I do see, and that's what I do pick up here in many ways. And yes, that is pretty much what we do have in regards to the reading. So yeah, that is what we have. But we're not done yet. We are not done yet. Don't go anywhere, because we have got the letters and the charms to look into. So the letters can be initials, it can spell out words, and then we'll look into the charms. Okay, got this one, this one, this one, and this one, okay, as well. And let me just grab the charms. I believe there's I believe there's 1,000 charms in my charm box, if I'm not mistaken, because some of them are really tiny. They're like little metal ones as well, and I'm convinced because of how many of like each of the pieces that I put in there. I believe it added up to that many, which is kind of crazy to think about. I'll actually show you so that you don't think that I'm making it up. This is how big my hand is, but yeah, a lot of the metal ones are sort of at the bottom. Okay, so we've got here the sort of half kissing face, you know, the little duck face, but more of like a kiss. So it goes to show that they do really have a lot of affection and that they are quite romantic. They're quite flirtatious naturally as well, from what I see. You got here this vampire energy as well, which I think is really interesting. Do with that information what you will, but I will say one thing is that sometimes people do take a lot of their energy, and that's something that they do feel. It can also very much so be as well that you may feel like sometimes they drain your energy because you're always constantly like thinking and wondering and pondering about them. That kind of takes your energy. So that's what we see. Of course, you know, vampires sort of like suck, well, they suck blood, but also they suck energy, you know, so we have got here as well this sports playing charm. So they do like to be a team player, especially in regards to work. We have here a cocktail as well, so they do like to unwind and relax. And we have like a bar energy here, especially with the sort of sports, with the cocktail kind of vibe. We've got here the Gemini charm. So the Gemini charm, is very, very interesting because, you know, this Gemini charm really does represent, again, you know, what did I mention right at the beginning? Like, well, halfway through your reading, I did mention that, you know, the magician is Virgo and Gemini, and then the lover is a Gemini, so we've got dominant Gemini. Well, there you go, right? Dominant Gemini. So that again is about sort of thinking two sides and then coming to a conclusion, and that's what we see there. We also have here the tree as well, which is about growth and moving forward. We have an I, we have a G. I will talk about these two charms in just a little second. We got an O, we got a J, a C, Q, P, got PJs, like they like to relax and just chill out, you know. A C, O, I, got two I's, you've got two O's, I've got another I. I'm seeing food here as well. There you go. Okay, we've also got go as well, and you've got three I's, so they're really quite focused on their sort of path at this very point in time. They do love to travel, okay, so there is that traveling energy with the world, and they do think about the future, you know, with that little baby's dummy as well. Ooh, look at what happened on my phone. It's 11:11. Oh yes. By the way, if anyone's wondering like what I'm covering up, I mean I'm not covering up because anything's like shady on here. It's just the Formula One calendar. That is literally what's on here, just so that I know what dates, you know, there's stuff going on. Because I just like watching the racing, to be honest. So anyways, that's what I'm covering up, just in case some of you are like, what are you even covering up? It's not anything terrible to cover up, really. You know, it's not like I'm hiding anything. But yeah, it's very random. That's why. If anyone else loves Formula One, do let me know. All right, let me know. Maybe it's relevant to this reading. You never know. But also, I just wanted to mainly show you that it's 11:11, which goes to show that they really do feel like they're in the right path in their life. Even if you look at these eyes, you've got here. Look at the bottom of it. It says 1 and 1, which is 11. So that's interesting synchronicity, isn't it? But yeah, they do think about the future. They do think about where things could go. They are really on their journey, and that's what I see here as well, and they're really quite focused on it from what I pick up. So yeah, that is essentially what I see. Group number 2. If this reading resonates with you, let me know in the comment section below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Check out the description box below for information on private paid readings, free reading giveaway, and of course intention items, which are on Etsy. And yes, that is what we have there. So let's take away the letters, and the charms can go back in here. And then we'll take away these beautiful Monopoly tarot cards, which, by the way, I purchased these on Etsy. So if you're wondering where to get them, Etsy is really interesting. I mean, Etsy is, for tarot cards, I would say it's a little bit hit and miss, because there are some cards that are so expensive, and then you get them and it's like, really, did I just really pay that much for it? And then there are some decks that are, it's just worth it, you know, it's totally worth it. This is one of those decks where it's worth it. I bought from this seller as well another deck, and I have to say I was a little bit disappointed. I'm just going to be 100% transparent with you, you know, that, yeah, sometimes with the decks on there, it's a little bit hit and miss. I will say that the other 2 decks that are present in this reading as well are called Shuffle Tarot, and those were totally worth every single penny as well. But yeah, there's some decks that have just not been worth it. Maybe I'll do a whole video on that actually, because it could help you guys, you know, especially if you are purchasing decks. Maybe it helps you. You know, we all have different tastes though, that's the thing. You may not like what I like, you know. Okay, so let's go to the next reading. I can't grab that last card. Oh, sorry, it made a lot of noise. I just can't grab this last card that's stuck on the table. Come on, don't be stingy. You don't want to be a part of the reading. You don't want to be a part of the reading? Come on, card, come on, card. You gotta come and do the reading. Okay, there we go. Finally, it just got like stuck on the table. I was like, I know you don't want to be present on camera today, but you gotta come and do the reading. Okay, and then we got the crystal. Okay. All right, group number 3. This is what you need to know about your person. So we have this absolutely stunning, fiery crystal, which actually matches this beautiful Shuffle Tarot deck. I'm just going to put the crystal right there. And we are going to have a look and see what is coming through for your reading. So let's get started. So what do you need to know about your person? We're going to do a 12 card spread, and then we're also going to look into charms and letters as well. Okay, so what do you need to know about your person? Group number 3. Let's have a look here and see. What do you need to know about your person? This is the Shuffle Tarot deck. Well, let's just roll with that then. Got a lot of cards that just came out. We'll roll with all of them. We'll roll with all of these. We'll roll with these. And we'll roll with these. Okay, so we've got here the 7 of Cups. We've got Death. I know these illustrations, they can seem like, oh, did I just see another card in the actual card? And yeah, the cards are designed in that way, which is super, super interesting. But yeah, it's still the 7 of Cups, even though this looks like the 7 of Wands card, you know, from like Rider-Waite. But we've got Death, we've got the Devil, got the Tower, got the Ace of Pentacles, we have the Hermit, we have here the 4 of Pentacles, we have here the World card, Page of Swords, Judgment, Ace of Cups. Oh, you've got the Ace of Cups and the Ace of Pentacles. You've got here the World card. Oh wow, so beautiful. Look, you've got the Magician on there with all of the suits as well. Star. 2 of Wands. Knight of Wands. Put it right here. Okay, so with your person, what I see here is that they do go through troubles and challenging emotions. You know, at times they can feel very all over the place. They can feel very emotional. They can feel withdrawn. They can feel emotionally unstable at times. And also, you may find at times that they do need some distance, space, time. You may sometimes feel like you need to kind of walk a little bit on eggshells around them. And that's to do with the fact, I think, that they can be unstable within themselves. So the 7 of Cups here shows that I really do feel, especially with this card, that they have sort of grown up feeling like they need to achieve certain things. They need to do things a certain way in order for people to see them a certain way. So they do like validation. And that's what's coming through with this particular card, is that they feel this need for validation a lot of the times. I also feel here with death is that there could have been the death of someone that has really affected them in their life, and that has made them really see things in sometimes a very grim way, and they have always felt quite frustrated and very challenged in regards to certain things that they have wanted to do, or the ways in what they have been taught from childhood has really affected them, and it's sort of made them suppress a lot of their emotions, feelings, frustrations. So it's almost like they have been taught not to feel too much, and that's really what I see here with Death, the Devil, and the Tower. I mean, these are really intense cards, right, to have in a row. They're not simple, they're not easy cards. They're very, very challenging. Especially with the Tower, it's Mars energy, which is about anger and frustration. And this really does build up within themselves over the course of time, because they can feel really overwhelmed, they can feel very challenged, and they can feel very frustrated. And that's something that I do see, is that from time to time they can become internally very, very angry, and they can become so frustrated as to why they feel a lot of those emotions. And I feel like a lot of it is because they do suppress a lot of it. They tie up their problems, and they try to sometimes pretend like it doesn't exist. Like they try and go about doing things like their problems basically don't exist. And so they do suppress their emotions. They do sometimes think that things are just going to be okay by them being okay, but actually it hurts them a lot more. See, the Chariot here shows this person is being struck by arrows. They're a clear target, and so that's what happens, is that they end up feeling even more stuck. So Death card here shows that a transformation will happen towards healing. So the good news here is that we do have the healing card, which is the Star. That's really great news. If we didn't have the Star, I would be a little bit worried, but not just the Star. There's a lot of other cards here that represent healing and time, which I think is really important. Death here is about death and rebirth. It's Scorpio energy, so again, it's that really strong progressive energy of transformation that is going to take place. And the Devil here is about them letting go and cutting those chains off, essentially, and finding freedom, which, by the way, freedom is the Fool that we see here, right? Freedom is that sort of spontaneous energy that they're always trying to be quite spontaneous. They're always trying to distract themselves with lots of different things. So, for example, their hobbies, right? They might always be constantly doing a project, or doing this, or going here, or going there, or being around friends, or trying to do this, and this. And that is because they're trying to allow their spontaneous vibe to sort of take over the things that they are suppressing. But that suppression doesn't go anywhere, right? It can only be healed, in which case it would be understood. But they try not to always understand it. They try to just protect themselves with their ego and validate their ego, and that's what they look for. And that causes much more of a problem. So, there's this energy here of them sort of spiraling, hitting rock bottom, and then being able to heal, and that lifts them up to another level. Okay, so that's really what I see that you need to know about your person, is that at some point, what's inside will always, it will be bound to come out, especially if it's frustration. If you, I know this is going to be a bit of a grim analogy, but say, for example, someone eats something that is poisonous, right? Our body will react in a way to get all of that toxic stuff out of us in any way it can, right? It's just really simple. Like with a volcano, is that when it builds and builds and builds, it's going to explode at some point, right? It might take it hundreds of years, but it will at some point. And not that it's going to take this person hundreds of years, but a volcano is very different to a human, right? A human, it can really explode, at multiple different times. But essentially, that's what I see also with the Knight of Wands, is at some point, they will feel what they have been feeling. They're not just going to be able to run away from it, especially when they're by themselves. They do feel pain from time to time, but they try and kind of cover it up with distractions around other people, so again, kind of just going about their own thing, focusing on their goals, especially with the Ace of Pentacles. They do like financial stability. I do see them trying to save a lot more money as well. That's something that's coming through. They're trying to be also more considerate about the decisions they make, but I do feel like some of the decisions they make are not the best decisions. So again, they might be making decisions more from a place of just trying to find validation from other people, trying to please other people, trying to always look out for what other people are needing, not necessarily their own selves. So you have got the Devil at the top here, and this is the Judgment card, but you have got sort of the Devil card here, right? But then you've got the Fool in it, and it all just makes a lot of sense in many ways, because it goes to show here that there is a process to this. The angel is supporting them. The angel is trying to make sure that they go through this process in a proper way, because healing comes oftentimes after a big trigger or a realization, right? They need to have that realization, otherwise they're not really going to realize what they need to heal. So Devil here just goes to show that the decisions they're making right now are not necessarily the best ones. Like, they're just kind of people pleasing in many ways, and also trying to just please themselves and their ego. That doesn't really help anyone or anything in the long run, or the long-term aspect of things. But then we do have here the Two of Wands as well, so they are really considering how things can progress and what can happen in the future for them, and also for you and things like that. But they are quite indecisive from what I can see here, and they can be a little bit defensive, but they're also trying to sort of figure out, how can I make things work for myself, and how can I do things that work for myself. The World card here is about satisfaction. Ultimately, they want to feel satisfied, they want to feel happy in the future, they want to feel good, they don't want to feel drained, they don't want to feel upset, they don't want to feel hurt, they want to feel satisfied, and ultimately, they are the ones that can really bring this to themselves in many ways. No one else can really help them unless they help themselves in many ways as well, and that is essentially the biggest thing that we do see here. So Star card here shows that healing will happen. This healing will allow for much more continuity, much more progression between the two of you, but also they have to understand this by themselves. And so the spiral will happen essentially by themselves. It's never nice seeing that happen to someone ever, but it does go to show that along the way they are protected by the spirit guides, and that they have to realize this on their own. They can be very defensive when someone else points it out to them. It's something to keep in mind. And the Ace of Cups here shows that there can be, an overwhelming sense of emotion that leads to an overwhelming sense of relief from an overwhelming amount of healing that does happen. So right now they can be a little bit immature, very spontaneous, kind of doing their own thing, at times being hot and cold towards you. But ultimately, they will have a big realization, a big trigger, a big lesson that will be taught to them, that actually, they can't keep going down this particular way. They can't keep suppressing their emotions, pretending it doesn't exist, because actually not only are they hurting themselves, but they're also hurting people around them. And that is something that they ultimately will realize is not a very good thing. And they will feel quite ashamed, I feel, from all of that, from what I see here. So that's ultimately, I keep saying ultimately, it's just what I'm seeing. And also you've got the Wheel of Fortune, which shows a change of fate. So things will change, right? And it will be them taking action as well after what they've dealt with in order to bring forth and bring on that big, big change. And that is what we have there. All right, so that's what you need to know in regards to your person. Let's go to the charms. So first of all, we're going to do the letters. So the letters can spell out initials. It can also be words as well. And then we'll get the charms. Okay, got an F, T, J, D, C, N, X, E. That's interesting, got an X here. Okay, X is not just about a person being an X, it's also about X feelings, things from the past, also known as X this, X that, X can be the things that they've dealt with in the past in regards to an X, though. I will say that, it can be difficult relationships that have just made them feel like, wow, that was so hard. Like, why was I even in a situation like that? It hurt me, it annoyed me. And some of the feelings that they have suppressed can be in regard to that, which they do need to heal. It's very possible, because some of you might be watching this person could be your ex, right? So keep that in mind. However, this is going to be very different for all of you. So for some of you, it can be an ex-friend that's really had an impact on them, or someone who has passed away here that has really sort of made them close up in regards to emotions, so that they don't feel pain, they don't feel frustration, but actually it's building up and causing more pain and more frustration. So keep that in mind there. We've also got here as well a O. We've got like a no here, but we've also got a do, right? So sometimes, like right now, they can be reluctant to kind of work on themselves, but then eventually what the universe is going to teach them is, instead of no, you got to do. Okay, and then we've got here a W and a U as well, and I'm pretty sure there are lots of words here that you can spell. You've got here dot, like connecting the dots. You've got net as well. They kind of feel a little bit caught up in things from what I see, but you've got here the Virgo energy, and you've got an angel here in many ways. This kind of reminds me of Temperance just in the way that it is, but it's the Virgo charm. And this just goes to show here that when they're by themselves, they really do feel their emotions and they try to kind of just keep it in their mind. But ultimately, what they will realize with realizations and essentially the path that they're in is that they've got to heal themselves, they've got to work on themselves. Their spirit guides are really trying to help them in so many ways, but because they are quite resistant to it, they will at one point have to kind of teach a bit of a lesson, and that's how they're going to really find healing. So we've got here this sort of little gun here as well. This is about a target, you know. They have a lot of targets, they have a lot of goals, but they just keep going. Eventually their target and their goal will be to feel better and to heal, and that is something that I see. Now they can also be a very easy target for people, okay, because you see this person having all of these arrows in their back, and so what I see mainly is that a lot of people do take, you know, a lot of their energy. They are constantly sort of going after this person and just really not being very nice to this person as well. And that's also something that's making them very defensive and just not feeling very good, is that, you know, a lot of people do say not nice things to them from time to time, and that just also makes them very closed off. So they can sometimes be a very easy target for just some very not nice words and things like that, especially in regards to their family as well, or in a work environment. Like, people just don't say very nice things to them, so they prefer to just sort of keep things within themselves. But also I see here the ship, I think this is a helm. Is it a helm? It's, you know, it's like the steering wheel in a ship. Wow, I'm so descriptive. But essentially they'll steer into the right direction, right? They will go into the right direction. They're being protected here, so don't worry too much about, you know, what we're seeing in terms of them being a target. They will be protected. And we also see here as well, see, they're quite worried right now. They're just feeling very overwhelmed, feeling very, you know, frustrated. We also have here don't as well, which I think is really interesting. But don't and won't, you know, so you've got a lot of like resistance here, which will lead to them actually doing much more in the process of things. So this is your reading group 3. If this resonated with you, let me know in the comment section below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Check out the description box below for information on private paid readings, free reading giveaway, and of course intention items, which are on Etsy as well. And do take care, everyone. Bye.